Cruise news time, and we've got a story of a government crackdown against cruise ship crew members that are doing some disgusting things. We also have more places that aren't that cool with the expansion of cruising. And there's a very important petition that you may want to sign if you care about cruising at all. Maybe. Cruise news and my views. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to La Lido Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here to talk you through everything going on in cruising. It's cruise news and views. It's for your face on a Tuesday the 6th of May, 2025. And let's talk about the worst story first. 11 crew members coming out of Galveston and Fort Lauderdale have been, one arrested, 10 deported by a joint effort between Customs and Border Protection and the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport Human Trafficking Unit. Man, I'm glad they abbreviate that. The FLL-HTU. Those two agencies worked together. They found a crew member that had exploitative material of children on his person. And then they found 10 other people that were involved in either the consumption or the dissemination of that material. And they took swift action. Like I said, one, the possessor, arrested, and the other 10 deported from the United States. Here's a quick look at the Customs and Border Protection press release. It basically says this operation was executed in collaboration with CBP, Miami, Tampa, Houston field offices, Homeland Security, Transportation, Security, TSA, the Air Marshals, and local law enforcement. A multi-agency crackdown highlights the power of teamwork and protecting vulnerable passengers, making travel safer for families everywhere. I did an episode a while ago saying that this is a real issue for cruise ships. You can't have people that are doing this kind of thing on your cruise ships. And I don't know if it's another level of, screening or whatever, but the challenge, like I've mentioned before, is when it comes to cruising, it takes a multitude. So you have, hundreds of thousands of people, crew members, consumers, and you're going to get some bad apples in that bunch. And fortunately and thankfully, these organizations are working to crack down on the worst of the worst. So at least there's a few less bad crew members on board. Way to go, everybody involved. Now, like I mentioned, it is May the 6th. A couple days ago, it was May the 4th. And I don't know, maybe not everybody is into it, but May the 4th sounds like May the Force be with you. So it's often considered Star Wars Day. I was just looking at Facebook, and my friend Walter from Where's Walter's Travel, he's our travel partner. He posted this. He said that Heathrow Airport won May the 4th day. This is too good. On their departure board, they had all kinds of cities from Star Wars: Tatooine, Hoth, Endor. Those are from the original trilogy. But yeah, this was super great. Probably should have asked Walter if I could have shared this, but I think he's okay with it. And it does give me a good opportunity to say, if you are looking to book cruise travel, use Walter. This guy is a rock star. He's actually in charge of 2 of our group cruises. We have a group cruise coming up in October out of New York, and then we have a group cruise out of Philadelphia next year in April. I'll leave a link to those group cruises, which will take you to Walter's website. Make sure, if you don't have a travel agent, go check out Walter. All right, now let's talk about a couple places where the expansion of cruising is not looked on so positively. There's some new legislation in France. Starting July the 1st, there's 2 cities in France that are implementing new cruise ship regulations. This first one I'm going to say wrong. Villefranche-sur-Mer and Nice, they're both putting cruise ship caps in place. Villefranche-sur-Mer, they're limiting cruise passengers to 2,500 cruise passengers per ship. And Nice is saying that they will not accept any ships except ships that have 450 passengers or less. It's reported that the decision comes in response to environmental concerns, harmful emissions, overpopulation, over-tourism. France making some moves to slow that down. And then we got this other spot that's not necessarily trying to reduce the amount of cruisers that come there. They're just trying to get more money out of the cruisers that are going there. Hawaii has 2 tax initiatives in the works. One is a transient accommodations tax, and traditionally that tax had nothing to do with cruise ships. Well, that has changed. The Hawaiian legislature passed that now cruise ships will be hit with this TAT tax, the transient accommodations tax. It's going to be some sort of modified tax. It's going to go into effect on January 1, 2026. And looking at the numbers help you understand why they're making this play. 1 million cruisers go to Hawaii each year, and they believe that implementing this tax will generate up to $100 million in tax revenue. Now, of course, Norwegian Cruise Line, they have a ship that sails around the islands of Hawaii, the Pride of America. They're not happy with it. The cruise industry is not happy with it. They're saying that it's unconstitutional, and so there will be some pushback to this new tax. I don't know if the pushback will take the form of a lawsuit or if it will just take the form of cruise ships going away from there. But that's just one of the taxes. There's a second tax that's being proposed also that would charge cruise passengers $20 per port stop. So if you're on Pride of America for a week and you hit 4 of the Hawaiian Islands, then that's going to be $80 additional than what you're currently paying in addition to your cruise fare and your port fees and your taxes. We're talking about $80 extra per person just for 4 stops on a seven night tour. That's just an example. But yeah, there's a lot of pushback to that. Also, that one hasn't been passed yet. And so now the ball's kind of in the cruise line's court to see whether or not they're going to pay it. Of course, they'll pass the cost on to us cruisers. Are they going to pay it? Or are they going to do something else? That's the next thing for us to watch. I saw the craziest thing driving over to the office today. There was a dude fully jogging, right? Like you could tell he was he had on, athletic clothes. He had on jogging shorts. He had on, one of those wicking shirts. You could tell he was out there getting his exercise. And as I passed him in my car, he was smoking. He was like full on jogging and smoking. I don't even understand look, I'm a fat guy that needs to lose weight. I did just do a weight loss update on the Tony Barnett channel. I'll leave that link below if you want to see. I went to the knee doctor today. If you're interested in my knee pain and how fat I am, you can go check that out. But yeah, I don't even understand it. Can anybody help me understand the jogging and smoking at the same time? I don't know. We do have to talk about a petition that has been filed that you can sign that will make cruising better, particularly for one group of cruisers. It's a wild thing. I'm gonna tell you all about that, but first let's take a break. Let's take a dance break. Get up, get up. Dance break. Did you get up? Did you get up? Here's the deal. Carnival Cruise Line just introduced 2 brand new cruise ships in the Australian cruising market, the Carnival Adventure and the Carnival Encounter. And when I say brand new, I mean they're just the refurbished P&O Australia cruise ships. Carnival Corporation shut down the P&O Australia brand, and then they rose it. They rose it from the ashes like a phoenix. Now we have 2 new Carnival cruise ships. They're the same old ships, but it's Encounter and Adventure. And the wild thing is, even though these are Carnival cruise ships, they don't have something that every other Carnival cruise ship has. Are you ready to clutch the pearls? Are you ready to be shocked? These 2 cruise ships stopped serving the included pizza at 4 p.m. Are you kidding me? How can you be on a Carnival cruise ship and not be able to get free pizza after 4 p.m.? That's an outrage. When I first started cruising on the Carnival Fantasy, you could get pizza 24/7. You could wake up at 5 in the morning and get yourself a slice of pepperoni pie. Then they did some crazy stuff and kicked it down to 3 o'clock. Then they did some crazier stuff and kicked it down to midnight and started giving some horrible, horrible square pizza. But that's neither here nor there. Some passionate pizza prefers got their dough so twisted that they went to change.org and they've started a petition to get Carnival to have pizza until midnight. I think look, there's a lot of stuff to be passionate about, a lot of stuff to sign petitions for, and none of it interests me as much as this change.org petition about pizza. So look, honestly, you could probably Google change.org petition for Carnival pizza if you're interested in being an advocate for the pepperoni lovers. Or if they're vegan, I'm sure they're just going for cheese. I don't know. Well, is that even vegan? I don't understand. The big question for today is a little bit of a devious one. We're going to play Thanos. What if you could just snap your fingers? You got to wear the Infinity Gauntlet. That's a lot of work to get all the stones. If you could just snap your fingers and make one cruise line disappear, what cruise line would you make disappear? I'm afraid to answer this one. I'll put some choices down in the comments. What if I said Disney? Would you guys hate me? Oh no! Gone. I don't know. Yeah, that's the question for today. Thank you so much for checking out this episode. Look, I know you haven't seen this episode. At least that's what the YouTube algorithm says. Check this out next. Make sure you subscribe for more. Tony for Ludley to Look. Until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido.